I want to give you guys a little lesson today on how to start the Automoblox car parts CAD drawings or CAD parts that we're going to recreate in the CAD system. Very useful skill in order to be able to recreate parts of an assembly to accurate engineering dimensions so that all these parts fit together later and make a car, right? So if you get one part wrong, then the whole assembly is wrong because they won't fit together. So if you see on my screen here, I have on one screen, I have the OnShape CAD system that you guys are familiar with. And I have over here the Word document that I shared with you about Automoblox drawings. And so we're going to actually create 3 parts out of the 7. We're going to create a passenger base, and I'll show you how to get started on that today. We're going to create the passenger section, and then we're going to create the front assembly, and just to give it a feel for how parts might be built. So when I look at this, I'm thinking in terms of CAD, I'm thinking rectangle. And then I'm thinking for each of these 4 different shapes, I want to be prudent and create a separate sketch for each shape. That way, if I mess something up, especially on this star down here, I haven't messed up the whole sketch. I'll simply just have to uh, actually change each sketch individually. So that's the way we're going to approach this with about 5 sketches total. So I'm going to start out by creating my rectangular background here. So I'm going to click on Sketch. I'm going to choose the front plane, and I'm going to line this up normal. And I'm going to use my rectangle to start here. And I know my original rectangle here is 1.975. So if I click here, I know the length here is 1.975. And then if I hit enter, it's going to ask me for the height, which is 1.590. So I start out with the actual rectangle, and you can go ahead at this point and add the fillets, or we can add the fillets after we extrude it. I prefer to do it after I extrude it so I can see what really happens. So I have finished this sketch here. I'm going to finish that sketch. I'm going to go back to the isometric view. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the planes now so we can actually see what's happening. And I'm going to go to extrude, and we're going to pick this one. And the extrusion, if you look over here, the extrusion thickness in this side view here is 0.30. So I'm going to change the extrusion to 0.30 and then click green check mark. So here's my basic background passenger base where all the holes will be cut out of it. Now I'm going to go ahead at this point, and I'm going to go ahead and put some of the fillets on here. So I'm going to choose the fillet command. And again, if you look over here, the fillets are 0.200. And it's already set at 0.2. So I'm just going to keep it there, and I'm going to click on surface, edge, edge. And then I want to get this edge. And then I might have to actually, you know, turn this thing around a little bit with my mouse so I can get over here. It works a lot better if you're doing this on a computer because you can use your mouse to turn things better. And I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to go back to my ISO view. So basically, I've made my basic shape here. And from this, you'll do the same thing for each of the 4 shapes. You'll start a new sketch. You'll sketch it on this surface plane here, normal. And so to do the first one up here, I'm going to do the circle. Now, what you need to make sure is that it's always easier to actually it's easier to actually draw the circle or the shape to the correct size first and then locate the center point or the edge distance by using your 2 dimensions to locate it. So I'm going to go ahead and draw the circle to the about where I think it should be, somewhere in this upper quadrant, and that needs to be 0.580. Okay. I'm sorry, I got to click first. 0.580. And there is my circle, the correct size. So now all I have to do is click on the dimension tool, and I have to locate it. Tells me from the edge of the part to the edge of the circle here will be a distance of 0.200. It shoves it adjusts the circle over to the edge, and then my distance to the top from the top of the circle to the top of the part will be here to here, and that distance should be 0.050. So now I've got everything, the sketch drawn exactly the way it needs to be for the circle. I'm going to click the green check mark. I'm going to go isometric. I'm going to extrude the circle. It wants to come out, but I want to go in. So I'm going to say remove, and I'm going to click the check mark, and there we go. I actually have my circle cut through the part, and you'll repeat this process: a sketch for the square, a sketch for the triangle, a sketch for the star. And if you check back, I will have another video on exactly how to do the star itself, since that one's a little more difficult. So happy modeling.